Looking for future travel inspo? I have hauled all my travel destinations from 2020, so sit back and enjoy. Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to another YouTube video. If you're new around here, my name is Dain Luka. I post travel videos every single Friday at 2 p.m, so you're going to want to hit that subscribe button. Although I'm not traveling at the moment, I still have many months of travel content left for you guys, so you're not going to want to miss that out. I'm also going to say go follow me on Instagram. I'm posting a lot of travel reels at the moment. And yeah, let's get straight on with the video. So today, as you can see from the title, is a travel haul. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a travel haul before, but I like the idea of hauling the places that I've been to. And there's two reasons that I want to do that. The first reason is because I have luckily been to 8 countries this year, despite a global pandemic. And I want to give you guys some inspiration for some future travel destinations, some future trips to plan, and get you excited about traveling next year, because I am so sure it's going to go back to a little bit more normal than it has been this year. Confident of that. And the second reason that I'm doing this video is so that I have memories. One of the big parts of me sort of vlogging my travel experiences is so that in years to come I can look back on it, and I still, even though it's been like literally less than a year, I still look back on my trips and like went to Greece and stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, like that was just such a good time, and I'm glad that I vlogged those experiences. And you just capture like these random moments on camera with your friends, and it's just so much fun. So yeah, it's mainly for like a keepsake for me, so in a few years time I can look back on this video and be like, wow, those are all the countries that I visited in 2020. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video, guys. I'm going to try and film this all the way through. And yeah, I've got my phone for prompts because I'm struggling to remember which order I went in. So I'm going to start off with the first destination that I went to, which was LA. Now, I've always dreamed of going to LA. All my I hope I haven't smashed my phone. Okay, it's okay. I spent 3 days exploring the city. I just went balls to the wall. I literally saw everywhere. I went to Rodeo Drive, that was really beautiful. I spent a day in Disneyland on my first day of travel. It was on the 2nd of January this year, and it was all Christmassy, and it was amazing. I loved it so much. It was like I relived Christmas again, because obviously we'd already gone through Christmas. And I would say my favourite part of LA was just like the vibe itself. I stayed in this random hostel near Hollywood Boulevard, which, if any of you've been to LA before, that sort of area, like downtown, it's a bit dingy, but there are beautiful spots. I really loved Venice Beach, Santa Monica, and my favourite part was trying to hike to the Hollywood sign, which I thought would be really easy. It was actually really hard. So I was like, there's the Hollywood sign, I will try and walk over to the Hollywood sign. And it just didn't happen. It started getting dark, and it was like late afternoon, and I was walking for hours. Luckily I got back to my car. I was hiking for like 4 hours and I still didn't make it to the sign. It was crazy. Like, LA is so freaking big. Okay, the further and further up you get, the views just keep on getting stunning. In LA, it's just such a big contrast between like beautiful houses in Beverly Hills and, you know, homeless people on the streets. But hey ho, I had an amazing time, and I would definitely recommend you checking it out. I'd probably say next time I would like to go to California for like at least a week, and then check out Malibu, and just there's so much to do there. Like, it's also quite an expensive destination, so keep that in mind. But yeah, that was LA. That was my first place I went to this year, and I loved it. Now, number 2, this destination absolutely blew my freaking socks off. I didn't know what to expect, but I spent a month traveling the whole of New Zealand, and I did it on this thing called the Kiwi bus, which I'm going to be honest with you guys, my first day in New Zealand, I was like so jet lagged and just tired. I was kind of walking around Auckland for the day, and I was like, right, got to get on the Kiwi bus the next day. and this is where I met my friends Anya and Alice, who I'm still really good friends with now. I met them on the first day on the bus. It's like a massive school trip. It was the best time ever. I did so many things, but I'll only tell you about a few of them because I could probably do a whole video on New Zealand. So if you guys want to see that, put some comments down below. So I would say highlights for me were cave diving in Waitomo, I can't say that probably. So yeah, cave diving in Waitomo, which was sort of like at the beginning of our trip. Other things that I really loved was doing another crazy thing. I did a skydive over Lake Taupo, and if you guys don't know, Lake Taupo is actually the size of Singapore. So this lake is pretty big, but the way that the water is so blue, it looked like I was skydiving off the side of the earth. So yeah, absolutely loved that. Queenstown was also beautiful. Milford Sound was a journey. I've done a whole vlog on this, so I can link that down below as well. I would definitely love to return to New Zealand and spend a good few months like driving around myself, maybe with some friends. But yeah, New Zealand, I think if everyone asked me where's your favourite place that you've been, New Zealand, New Zealand, New Zealand, like it just has to be like, freaking just had an amazing time in the Kiwi bus. And the food is great, the wine is amazing. My favourite wine, Sauvignon Blanc, white from New Zealand, unreal. Drinking that in New Zealand just finished me off pretty much. But yeah, that was New Zealand. I then went on to Australia, and oh my god, I was so scared to go to Australia because as a kid I've always heard Australia is full of crocodiles and snakes and crazy big spiders that can kill you, so that's always really put me off. But I was like, do you know what, I'm this side of the planet or whatever, I'm just gonna go there. And oh my god, basically did from Cairns down to Melbourne, and I think that took me about 5 or 6 weeks, I want to say. I did so many things in Australia that I can't remember. So I used a Greyhound pass, which was enabled me to hop on, hop off all down the east coast of Australia, and it's quite a general route. Like backpackers typically go to Australia and they'll backpack down the east coast. So my highlights definitely have to be the Whitsundays and staying on a boat for I think it was 3 nights. And here we did snorkeling and we ate like really nice food, went to Whitehaven Beach, which is this beautiful sandy beach, and oh my god, it was just unreal. I'm gonna put in loads of cool B-rolls so you guys can see what I mean, but it was just unreal. Like I remember the first morning I woke up at like 5 AM and I was sort of outside and I just let my feet hang over the edge of the boat and I was like, I'm in Australia right now, I'm the other side of the world. Good morning guys, it's currently 5:30 AM here.
You ready?
Yeah. That's so cool! Feeding the Fiji's, giving them some breakfast. There was beautiful fishes swimming around me. I got over my phobia of fish. There was a massive fish called George, which was just humongous. The next thing that I absolutely loved was Fraser Island. And if you don't know Fraser Island, it's like a massive sand island, and you just drive on 4x4s all around the island, going to like Mackenzie, Beachy Indian Head, the champagne pools. There's so many cool things to do in Fraser Island. And I camped as well, and I just remember like waking up one night and it was pouring down with rain. I was just led in the tent next to some randomer and I was like, I'm just so happy right now. It was cool. Can tell I'm getting all nostalgic about my travels. Okay, so the next thing that I've put on my list is Byron Bay. Now, I had a love-hate relationship with Byron Bay. I didn't really do much in Byron Bay. I feel like Australia compared to New Zealand is very like full throttle, just adventures and doing things all the time. Whereas Australia is very much sort of like beach vibes, party, lots of partying. But Byron Bay, I just really chilled out in Byron Bay, and I think my highlight definitely has to be you can do the lighthouse walk and get to the Byron Bay lighthouse for like 6:30 and see the sunrise over the coast, and it was unreal. But oh my god, the scariest thing happened to me when I did that. So basically I didn't really make any friends the first day in Byron Bay. I was only there for a few days, but it was fine. And I was like, I really want to do this. So I literally got up at like 5 a.m. because that's when people said like, get up at 5 a.m, walk there. And it was pitch black. I was like walking through some forest and I was just so scared. Like I even called my mum, like, Mum, just talk to me on the phone whilst I do this walk because this is freaking me out so much. Just checking my battery level. But yeah, highly recommend Byron Bay. And then went on to Sydney, and I'm really not a city person, but oh my god, I fell in love with Sydney. And there I was able to catch up with my cousin and caught up with a few of my other friends that I met in like New Zealand and like down the coast in Australia. And I think I spent about 10 days in Sydney and I just had the best time. Like we went to see the Blue Mountains, we did Bondi Beach, just sort of chilling in the city, having drinks by the Opera House. I will 100% be returning to Australia. And then from Australia, we flew into Tokyo, Japan. And oh my god, Japanese people are so friendly. From the moment I got off the plane at the airport, people saw me like struggling with like ticket machines and just getting confused, because one thing I didn't realize is that Japan isn't very tourist friendly. It's very traditional and yeah, everything's in Japanese, and for some ignorant reason I just assumed that lots of people would speak English. I thought there'd be lots of English signs everywhere, which there is at some points, but mostly you kind of just have to figure things out. And like my first time eating out in a Japanese restaurant on my own, I literally looked at a menu and I was like, great. Like it was literally, I'll put a picture up now, and I was like, I do not understand this. It's literally like symbols and signs, which is their language. But yeah, eventually I kind of figured out what things I can order, and I kind of got through that. But I would definitely say highlight Tokyo, unreal. Going to see the Shibuya crossing. I went there of a morning and just watched it, and I was like, this is just unreal. And then I wanted to see it at night, so I actually went back, sat in the Starbucks, got an amazing seat, and just sat there with a matcha latte. They love matcha lattes in Japan. And I was just watching it for like an hour, and I was like, this is just addictive. And I was like, I can't believe I'm actually here. So I basically did 5 days in Tokyo. I think I did 3 Kyoto, 1 in Hiroshima, 2 in Osaka, and then I went back to Tokyo. And I'm going to do a full video on how to travel Tokyo, like tips and that sort of thing, so keep posted for that. Highlights for me were seeing the orange gates, which were just unreal. It's like all these traditional shrines everywhere. And the other thing that really stood out to me was the Arashiyama bamboo forest, and just Arashiyama. It was just so beautiful. I really want to return to Japan. Unfortunately, when I was there, because of COVID, a lot of things were closed, like the robot restaurant, Tokyo Disneyland, a lot of things were closed, but that has just given me another excuse to return. Okay, the next place that I went to was very unexpected, and I say it was unexpected because I had loads of plans. I was meant to go to China, Philippines, South Korea. I had loads of plans, but because of COVID that all just messed up. So I actually found myself in Singapore, and this is when I realised that I was like, do you know what? COVID has just gotten so bad, and I didn't really understand it at this point. And I ended up I booked myself a few nights in this hostel, and it was not a great hostel. I was just crying because I was so stressed out, and I never cry, like never know. I was just calling people back home and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I decided to do what any normal person would do and just book themselves into a 5-star hotel. Now, I kind of planned in my head, if I was ever going to go to Singapore, I would definitely want to stay at Marina Bay Sands Hotel and get that famous view of the ridiculous infinity pool. I think it's like the world's largest infinity pool. But essentially, if you've never seen Marina Bay Sands, it is a beautiful 5-star resort that has 3 towers, so it's got 3 different hotels, and then a big ship on the top. I actually don't know how they've built it. I think in my video, I think they spent like 5 billion or something. I may have made that up, I'll double check that. But yeah, I stayed there and I was literally in that hotel. I checked in at 12, didn't leave till 11 the next day. So I had like a full 24 hours just not leaving the hotel. And I just sat around by the pool and it was just, if you're ever in Singapore, I know it's expensive, try and share it with a friend to make it cheaper, but just stay in Marina Bay Sands because you will feel like a king. Like the other things that I got to do, I got to see Gardens by the Bay. They sort of do a light show every night. Singapore was very beautiful, it was very clean, very easy to get around. I went to Universal Studios as well, that was pretty fun. And I went to the Team Borderless Lab Presents Lights thing, which I'll put some, I can't remember what it's called, but I really wanted to do this in Tokyo, but unfortunately due to COVID it was closed. Luckily I was able to go to the one in Singapore, and yeah, after that I flew home. So we've covered 5 countries here, and to be honest with you, when I got back from Singapore I was like, do you know what, I'm going to be back on the road by December, like full-time travelling again, the world will go back to normal. How wrong was I? So me and my friends had actually, the previous year, we planned to go to Corfu. We did this, I'll put the video down below as well, but we did a sort of let's pick a holiday out of a hat sort of idea. So all 8 of my friends, we all picked a holiday and we put it into a hat, and then I picked them out. The holiday that I picked out was Corfu. So we started planning that in September 2019. We'd booked the Airbnb and everything, and we were like, is it gonna happen? We don't know if it's gonna happen. And luckily the travel corridor for Greece was fine at the time, so we were able to go to Corfu, and this was like the most deserved, needed holiday. Like, we'd all been in the house for like 6 months, we hadn't seen each other really, so we just spent a week just being together and just getting drunk by the pool. If you ever get a chance to go to Greece, I would definitely check out Corfu. My highlights for Corfu have to be the wine tour that we did and just like chilling in the villa, which I'll leave the villa link down below as well. Okay, so absolute trip highlight here, which is probably my favourite day in Corfu, was hiring the boat and then just sort of like just boating out to different places, and the best place that we went to was La Grotta. So we parked our boat up here and then we just jumped off, swam over with our debit card, had a few cocktails, they had music, they had like cliff jumping, diving boards. It was honestly, I've been to a lot of bars in my life and this was probably like top 5, like probably one of the best bars I've ever been to. The cocktails were unreal, and yeah, memory's a bit blurry from that day, but looking back on the footage, I had a good day. Now the next place that I'm going to talk about is a place that I've always wanted to go to. And then randomly I found like a £10 flight from Corfu to Rome, and I went to Italy. So I started off in Rome and I went with my friend and we did all the touristy things. We went and saw the Spanish Steps, we saw the Colosseum, we saw the Vatican City. It was just, Rome was so beautiful. Next place that we went to, we got the train, we went to Florence, which was my favourite destination by far in terms of in Italy. And I just really liked it because it had a really good vibe. I said earlier, I don't really like cities. So although I loved Rome, Rome just felt a bit too big for me. But Florence felt a lot calmer, it felt relaxing. You know, just one of those cities you can kind of just mooch around, and just very beautiful, very artsy, good coffee. Met some really cool people, and I got to stay in an old nuns convent, which was just bizarre, but really cool experience as well. And then after Florence, I spent an afternoon in Pisa, so I got to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which was really beautiful. And then we finished up our trip in Venice for a couple of days, which Venice, again, lots of Aperol. If I had to sum up Italy, I would be like, amazing pasta, pizza, and Aperol Spritz. I'm now like addicted to Aperol Spritz. But yeah, we were able to get a gondola ride on our last day, and it just felt really good. And I loved it. Hey, hur mår du? Jag heter Dain. Vad heter du? Now, I've been learning Swedish because I just love Sweden, and that basically said, I hope it said, hi, how are you? My name's Dain. What is your name? I've been learning Swedish since I went to Stockholm because when I went there, guys, I just fell in love with the culture. Like, the people were beautiful. It's just very fresh and just beautiful, and yeah, I really loved Sweden. I really loved it. When I came back from Sweden, I just started learning Swedish because I was like, do you know what? I tried learning Italian, very difficult. Swedish, for some reason, I can kind of get on with that. So if you're watching this and you're Swedish, I do apologise if I totally said that wrong. We went to Stockholm, spent a couple of days, spent like a long weekend in Stockholm actually. Stayed on an amazing ship. I became obsessed with ABBA after coming back from the ABBA museum. Typically, I only listen to Mamma Mia soundtrack, but I was so inspired and I was just like, I love ABBA now, so I never listen to Mamma Mia now. It's always like classical ABBA songs. And yeah, I just kind of explored Stockholm for the weekend, and it was just it was just a really nice way to, I guess, finish up the year. That was, when I say finish up the year, that was back in October. But Sweden is definitely a place that I'll be returning to. I've heard Gothenburg in the summer is really nice. There we have it, guys. We are at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this travel haul of all the cool places that I've been this year. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not saying this to brag about all the places I've been to. I'm saying this to inspire you to go and see some cool places. Maybe this is giving you some destinations you want to add onto your travel list and you think, right, I'm going to go there at some point. If it's not next year, some point in the future. Did you want to go to Sweden? Did you want to go to Australia? Where do you want to go? Let me know in the comments down below. Out of all of these places that I've been to this year, where would you like to go out of all of these 8 destinations? And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to leave that there, and I will see you in next week's video. It's not going to be a Christmas video. It's also not going to be a travel related video, but I also think it's going to be a good video that you guys are going to get some wholesome content from, I will say that. So yeah, link everything I talk about in the video below. Go follow me on Instagram, and you know, I'll show you how to make some reels in 2021. And yeah, this has been fun to just hang out and talk to you guys about all the places that I've been to this year. So I hope I have inspired you. Give this video a thumbs up if I have. I will, yeah, leave it here. I've been sat here talking to myself, or talking to you guys for like 40 minutes about all these cool places I've been, and I feel a lot better. I feel good. I feel good, guys. So yeah, I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a good evening, whatever you're doing. Hope you have a good morning. So yeah, peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.